Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome around the globe to Kangen Water Radio, featuring the Kangen Water Health and Information International Call, where we consider, clarify, and often correct the conventional wisdom around Kangen water technology, the different machines, the science behind water types, uses, and benefits, the testing process, the maintenance and cleaning of the machines, and much, much more. We also explore a plethora of other topics as we teach, promote, and discuss the three-pronged approach to health and wellness: hydration, detoxification, and complete macro and micro nutrition. I am family physician Dr. Lisa Battle Singletary, now retired and now your virtual keto coach. I will be joined by my co-host and fearless leader, Mr. Terrence Hope, a Magic 6A distributor extraordinaire. And together, we bring you the best of both worlds. Today is May 1st. I cannot believe how quickly this year is passing. May. It's May. I can't believe it. And also, I can't believe how great it is to be here with you all today. So thank you for joining us. And let's see if we can be graced. We can be so blessed to be graced by our leader, Mr. Terrence Hope, a Magic 6A distributor extraordinaire, the influencer and health advocate to the stars and to the globe. Mr. Hope, are you with us today, sir? You're going to unmute yourself, right? I know you are.
I wanted to mime at first to see how good people were at lip reading, and certainly yes. And so thank you, Dr. Singletary, as well for being here. And thank you for everyone who is joining us here around the globe on the Kangen Water Health and Information Call. It's a very exciting call for us. And we have visitors from Dubai, from India, from, of course, the United States and Canada, as far away as Hawaii, over in the United Kingdom, and France as well, throughout Europe and beyond. So we're so thrilled and happy that we have been blessed enough and fortunate enough to have an international call with persons from all over the world. Later on in our call, we always encourage everyone to give a little chat message, ask a little question, make a little comment. Many people here are learning about
do a little dance.
Hey,
Make a
right?
little love.
There you
Can't go
are.
down tonight.
Many people on the call here are learning about Congo water, sometimes for the first time, and others are kind of ingraining themselves that much more into the understanding of Kangen water, what it is, how it works within the body, how to use it properly. For many decades now, many of us have owned Kangen water machines and done the best we can with them, but not all the best information necessarily was available. Here on the Kangen Water Health and Information Call, here on our platform on Kangen Water Radio, we seek to bring that information in more detail. What is Kangen water? How does it work within the body? And how to properly use it. So we'll be going over some of those things today. And once again, we are very blessed to have Dr. Lisa Singletary, MD, who is as she mentioned, board certified physician, now retired, lending her time to nutrition, hydration, and detoxification, and how those things apply to our health and wellness. Yeah, we often hear from the medical community what is good from a pharmaceutical perspective, or what may be recommended at least, but not always what's going on as far as your basic nutrition and how that works for the body. So we're blessed and thankful to have Dr. Lisa Singletary here with us, co-hosting the Kangen Water Health and Information Call International.
Mr. Hope, before I unleash you on the world, I neglected to say this is call number, can you guess? 385?
Mm.
See, I lost track myself. It might be 386. Let me see. I need to look because I try to tell people before we start. And no, this is 386 and it's May 2021. Can you? I just cannot believe it. So I just want to welcome everyone here again. And Mr. Hope, I do thank you for being here and for having me to be a part of this call and just having the vision to um, uh, start the call. I know it's maybe 2.0, but I really appreciate the platform. And we could probably call it 3.0 now that we are audio visual on Facebook and YouTube. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. So I just wanted to say that before I let you loose on the world.
Should I let him loose?
Thank you.
Should I let him loose? Yeah, it's a funny story, inside joke, I guess. Some of my friends will listen, they'll get it. But what's interesting is over the years, we have all heard about Kangen water. Yeah. Kangen water has become increasingly popular around the world. As a matter of fact, right now, when it comes to the purchase of the Kangen water machines, the Enagic, the Kangen water supplier, the manufacturer of the machines, is having a very difficult time keeping up with demand. All these machines are made by hand in Japan exclusively, and they are then shipped to the warehouses around the world in lieu of persons in those regions purchasing. So if you are in the United Kingdom, your machine will come out of Dubai, come out of Germany, the Dusseldorf office. If you're in India, it'll come out of Mumbai. If you're in Dubai, of course, it comes out of Dubai Central Headquarters throughout the UAE. Dubai headquarters services that. But what happens is there's such an overwhelming demand because right now, with the current health environment that we're looking at, people are very focused now on their health. And because of that, you've heard of Kangen water machines, and over the years, you may not have purchased one or prioritized it, but now, of course, it's become a priority. So we're glad to see that more people are purchasing and getting involved with their health needs at a more serious level. And in the process, we need to understand what it is, understand it better, apply it better, make sure we're using it in a way that's most beneficial. And so towards that end, I'm going to go ahead and go over some details as a summary just before Dr. Singletary gets into her subject matter for today. Is that okay, Dr. Singletary? Okay, awesome it is. I got the thumbs up from the doctor. So with that, what shall we do? We shall begin at the beginning. Yes, matter of fact, I think I will actually share my screen because I want to show you some things. Okay, so right now I believe everybody can see my screen, and hopefully I've got it in full screen mode that you can easily see everything that's on it. And I think you can. Yes, I was going to go for that. Now, what is Kangen water? Yeah, Kangen water has a motto: change your water, change your life. Yeah, this is our motto here. It's trademarked, believe it or not. Can you believe that? Change your water, change your life is a trademark. This is an example of one of the Kangen water machines. It's called the SD501. Many of us have known it because it's been our flagship machine for the past 17 years. The Kangen 8 machine is the most current up-to-date unit. It is 8 plates in the circuit. The Kangen SD501 is 7 plates. And it has on the 8 plate a universal power supply system for international travel, many great features, and it's awesome. But what is Kangen water? Yeah. Kangen water has often been described as and referred to as an alkaline water. Yeah. But there's more than one way that you can produce an alkaline water. You can put minerals in water and it will certainly be alkaline. But that doesn't make it antioxidant. What is different about Kangen water? Kangen water, while referred to as an alkaline water, is actually referred in science by a different term. It is referred to as electrolyzed reduced water. If you all can see my screen, electrolyzed reduced water. And there are other elements within Kangen water. There's molecular hydrogen, which I mentioned here. There are mineral nanoparticles. There are hydroxide ions, which we use as a measuring tool, because the more hydroxide ions we have in Kangen water or electrolyzed reduced water, the greater the ratio of antioxidant molecules that are also present. So the hydroxide ions happen to be alkaline in pH. We're only using their alkalinity as a measuring tool for the volume of overall, volume of antioxidant molecules within the water. Kangen water is actually not alkalizing you. We're not increasing your alkalinity. Before I go to my next slide, you've all heard the phrasing, your body is alkaline, they say. They say, drink alkaline water, eat alkaline foods, and your body will be healthy because it needs to be alkaline. Well, your body is not entirely alkaline. You have acidic organs like the stomach, like the reproductive system for women is more acidic. Different stages of the digestive system are acidic. The mouth, saliva, can range from acidity to alkaline, yeah? So then you can look at other organs like the heart, the bloodstream, the lungs, so forth, and they will sit at more of an alkaline pH. But keep in mind, there are different organs now that I'm pointing out that have different pH levels. So if we were to alkalize your body, we would actually end up causing the acidic organs to become alkaline, which would not be healthy for them. They cannot function if they're not in their own pH range that's healthy for them. For your stomach, it has to be acidic, right? There are other organs that are in their alkaline range, but just because we eat alkaline foods doesn't mean automatically we're, making the body alkaline. The body is self-regulating in its internal acid to non-acid or acid to alkaline ratio. So you eat what you want to eat as long as it's organic, and your body will regulate the pH in all the organs without your conscious help of, oh, I ate an alkaline apple today, I'm alkaline. Not quite how it works, friends, okay? So we just need to get a little more accurate in terms of information. So what is Kangen water? Kangen water is an electrolyzed reduced water. And what is electrolyzed reduced water? It's a water produced in a process known as electrolysis. And what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is a process where electricity comes in direct contact with water. So we see that same little lead up on the word there. Electrolyzed reduced water, electrolysis, electricity. So it's very easy to remember. So it's the electricity's effect on the water that produces the antioxidant production within Kangen water, also known in science as electrolyzed reduced water. You're going to hear me repeating that term again and again as we go through our talks over the next millennia, however long we'll be here, that you can understand the proper term to use when referring to Kangen water. So remember again, we're not alkalizing you, we are detoxing you. Yeah. So what happens when electricity hits water? Well, here's your water molecule, H2O, and we're gonna strike it with electricity, yes? And when you strike electricity, water with electricity, and we do that with a very high wattage, you cause a breakdown or a restructuring of the water molecules. Not all the water, but much of the water you'll get a different production of molecules. So we begin with H2O, and then we'll convert that down to OH negative molecules, or some of those alkaline molecules we talk about for the measuring tool purpose of understanding the strength of the detox of water, Kangen water. We have hydrogen atoms, yeah? And within the water system, you're going to get a restructuring going on. Amongst those things, you're going to see hydroxide ions, which are alkaline. You're going to see molecular hydrogen. which is H2. You're going to see mineral nanoparticles. All these things are involved in the antioxidant effect of the body when you're drinking Kangen water. There are some science references which I always love to make because I appreciate data and charts and that kind of information. So, you could always look up Kangen water science. There's a publication known as Science Direct. There's an article there called Trends in Food Science and Technology. It's from February 2012, volume 23, and it goes over a series of things that happen when electricity hits water and all of the antioxidant molecules that are produced in the process. Okay, you look at that. So we want to neutralize toxicity. We want to eliminate toxicity from the body. And when we can do that successfully, we put the body in a state where it can be most self-healing. Here's another paper that just talks about the restructuring of water molecules when electricity hits water. It's from a publication known as Chemical Physics Letters, and it also goes over what happens at a basic level when you hit water with electricity. Yes? So we have to remember this key. The body is self-healing. Look at the animals in the wild. Look at what I'm showing you here today. Think about where you live throughout the United States, throughout the United Kingdom, throughout the jungles of Africa, throughout the jungles of Brazil. What do you have? You've got animals living in the wild. And notice this, the humans that live in the homes, in the houses, in these civilized locations, yeah? They have all the chronic illnesses. But notice this about the animals in the wild. Unless they come in direct contact with humans, industrial waste, pollution, that type of thing, they've got no chronic illnesses to speak of. What do humans have that become most common in the past 40, 30 years? High blood pressure, heart disease, kidney failure, diabetes, cancers, yeah? There are dialysis centers popping up all over the United States and maybe in other countries in the world where people have to go to get their blood filtered because their kidneys are not functioning. I don't see any deer walking up to a local dialysis center saying, okay, it's my time of the week. I'm going to get my dialysis this time, and maybe I'll be back a couple of times this week or next week again. We don't see that happening. Why is that? Well, one thing we can say, humans and animals have completely different diets in this day and age. The animals in the wild, what are they eating? Produce and proteins, right? So you've got, whatever, fruits, vegetables, foliage, and of course, animals eat animals. So it's a animal eat animal world. It's not pretty, but that's where we are. And, and so it's organic ecosystem feeding off of itself that keeps itself healthy. In that cycle, if everything's going to be alive and stay alive, everything's going to be healthy to the next thing. You're not going to have a toxic passing on from one organism to another and have the planet even survive, which puts my mind on some other thoughts. But humans, we're kind of outside of that food cycle that's organic for us. We're eating what? McDonald's, French fries, drop one in your car, trust it'll be there a year later, intact. No bio breakdown whatsoever. Could be a problem, right? Coca-Cola, Sprite, ginger ale. Many people drink ginger ale because they think, oh, it's ginger, it's bubbly, it's good for my stomach. It's not good for your stomach. It actually deactivates your stomach acids. It gets into your cells. It'll cause, because it's an inorganic acid, it'll cause a pH imbalance. And your body, being self-regulating, will work to compensate for that by pulling minerals, calcium, from your bones. That will demineralize your bones. Long term, it could lead to things like osteoporosis, certainly arthritis, other types of bone disease. And while the body goes through a pH imbalance, one can deal with many types of health abnormalities. So soda's not good for you. Now there's ginger ale. We're not even sure that McDonald's is even food. Yeah, I said it. That's right. Twizzlers, Skittles, different types of candies. What are those? Yeah. Where are they on the food chain for us to eat? Yeah. But we give them to our children because we're advertised to. And we think, well, if it comes from a company, it must be safe. So maybe not, right? Everyone's looking for a profit. And that profit leads them to do things that may not be beneficial to everyone else's health. Longer story behind that, right? So we want to make sure we're eating organic and nutritious. The body is self-healing. If you were to scratch yourself on the finger or get a cut on the skin, what do? We put a Band-Aid on it and we wait a few days to see how it's healed. Not if it's healed, because we already know that it's going to heal itself. Why? We know that the skin is what? Self-healing, right? If there's a break to a bone or a hairline fracture on a bone, we put a cast on it to keep it still so that as it, that's right, heals itself, it heals evenly, right? So we know that the body is self-healing from the surface of the skin to the depths of the bones. But what we weren't told and what we didn't realize is that that self-healing ability continues right down to the cellular level in the body, as long as you've got proper hydration, proper nutrition, and proper detoxification. So you can't build up a toxicity and you can't have a lack of nutrition because your cells require what? Fuel, food. That's why you get what? Hungry. So you have to eat properly, organic, and you've got to have what your body needs for nutrition, proper hydration, and detoxification so you can be healthy. And if you do that, your body can stay at the proper state it needs to stay in. That is a healthy state and self-regulating. And you might experience what the animals in the wild experience in terms of like ongoing health. We never see them limping. We never see them sick. We don't see them catching colds, the flu, the whatever, right? Full nutrition and toxic elimination. The body is about 75% or whatever, 90% water. What kind of water you have in your body can dictate what your health benefits, what your health is going to be and the state of your health is. Yeah. So we enjoy Kangen water because of its antioxidant effect, its energizing effect on the body, and its detox effect that'll keep our body clean and pure as it should be. Just like you have a fish tank that needs to be clean and filtered, our body can build up with toxins that needs to be clean and filtered. Let's do that with the proper hydration. The proper nutrition is necessary and get the proper detoxification for our body to have what it needs, do what it needs to do. Later on, we'll follow up with more questions and we'll take whatever questions you have and answer those and be thorough in our understanding. I want to make sure that when people are drinking Kangen water, that they understand it is best to always start at the 8.5 pH level so that you're not overwhelming your body with a strong detoxification. Remember I said earlier that the body is self-healing and that the body will remove toxicity at an optimum rate. Well, when you've got proper detoxification methods, 8.5 pH, 9.0, 9.5, and these Kangen water machines indicate the different levels at which the detoxification strength occurs. 8.5, a mild detox. 9.0, a mid-range detoxification. 9.5, a high-level detoxification. So we want to make sure that we're detoxing at a rate that's best for our body. We always recommend starting at 8.5, even staying there for long periods of time if you happen to be a little more overweight, because there's more toxins to be released. And we'll go over more details later. For right now, I pass the call back on to our illustrious Dr. Singletary. Dr. Singletary.
Thank you, Mr. Hope. I loved. Okay, so I love the kapow. That's my favorite slide, and that's my favorite sound effect that you give us. So thank you for that. I love the kapow. I also love when you refer to the research, and I think this is so interesting that some of the early, I mean, not some, most of the early research on, I'm just going to say alkaline water because I don't know how they alkalinize the water for the studies. But for alkaline water, and when they specify electrolyzed reduced water, were done by the food industry. But it seems like just like the people that are looking at molecular hydrogen and looking at how these different molecules are so beneficial in the food industry for cleansing food, for preserving without chemicals, that doesn't make it to the store shelf, or the restaurant, or, it's similar to me as how time-tested, proven alternative means of health and wellness don't make it to the bedside. So every time you talk about that research, I marvel because, the information is there. The research is there from multiple countries. And, the medical industrial complex has just such a hold on the health industry of this country. And now we see the world. It's just amazing to me.
If I could add on to that, and there's, like you're saying, there's so much science available on electrolyzed reduced water. And the science is available in so many different areas, even regarding there, and you can be like a really prominent scientist and your work doesn't make it to the bedside. For example, there were these researchers at the National Institutes of Health, I think from the 1960s to the 70s. It's a husband and wife team known as Dr. Earl and Tressa Statman. And they did a lot of biochemistry work, immunology work, looking at nutrition and the benefits for the health. I remember there's a study that parallels the work of Dr. Wallach, Dr. Joel Wallach, noted to Tressa and Earl Statman on selenium. It's a mineral that's important for your body's health recovery. And put together with a full nutrient complex, their research shows that it will help with things like muscular dystrophy recovery, something that's considered to be a genetic disease, that it would help with cancers, something otherwise considered to be, really incurable by some standards. But, you look at, if you ever, tour the National Institutes of Health and walk through the halls of its lecture halls, you'll see gigantic plaques spanning the entire wall of the outside the lecture halls, dedicated to Earl and Tressa Statman and their breakthrough work. But in the lecture hall next door, seating 300 people, you'd never hear selenium mentioned in regarding to use in cancer research or cancer treatments. Yeah. So this kind of a thing is seen, on many levels, not just electrolyzed reduced water, which is something maybe not as commonly known, by a lot of scientists, but also amongst their own colleagues. If they do the work, it doesn't necessarily get to the bedside.
Absolutely. So thank you for always pointing us in the direction of the research. And thank you, PubMed.gov, for having the research available to us at the tip of a finger. So that's PubMed, PubMed.gov. That's where all of this research can be found. Okay. So here's some research that can be found. Today, I'm talking about you, and you've mentioned, Mr. Hope, how food often, the food, especially the food that's in the grocery store in the middle of the aisles, not the periphery. In fact, I have to thank Dale. Okay, so let me back up. Thank everyone. And Mr. Hope, maybe you could stop sharing your screen. I don't know if everyone is still seeing that.
Okay.
But thank everyone for joining us today from literally around the globe. We appreciate your being here. And I want to give a special thank you to Dale, because it was on the last call that Dale asked a question about processed meat. And Mr. Hope and Dale mentioned some things that he had heard in other studies about shopping on the outside perimeter of a grocery store and avoiding the aisles, and you'll hear that a lot. Anything that can be in a box or in a can or on a shelf, be wary, you know. I mean, we're thankful for the food supply, but we know that there are good, or there are levels of health, and there are levels of potential, even risks, in the different types of food that we eat, in the different combinations of food that we eat, and in the order of foods that we eat. All of these things our bodies calculate, whether we think about it or not. Our metabolism is affected by these things. So the um, topic today is the getting to the meat of the matter. So we're going to talk about meat, particularly red meat today. And I love healthline.com, and they have an article: Is red meat bad for you or good? An objective look. So, this article was written in 2018. There have been more studies since this article came out, but it gives a good balanced approach overall to the topic. Here we go. Red meat is the meat of mammals, which is normally red when raw. It's one of the most controversial foods in the history of nutrition. Although humans have been eating it throughout evolution, many people believe it can cause harm. Below is a review of the evidence on the health effects of red meat. This article does not tackle ethical and environmental issues. And I guess we could include religious issues in there. People have been eating meat throughout evolution and have digestive systems well equipped to handle it. Interesting, isn't it, that the defense mechanism of grains, which is gluten, the grains produce because they don't want to be eaten. And humans do not have the enzymes to break down gluten. I just think that's so fascinating. But we do have the enzymes to break down meat. Okay. Traditional populations like the Maasai have eaten much more red meat than the average Westerner, but remained in excellent health. However, the meat consumed today is different than the meat people ate in the past. And I have to say, the grains today are different than the grains in the past. Back in the day, animals roamed free and ate grass, insects, or other foods natural to them. Picture a wild cow on a field of 10,000 years ago, roaming free, chewing on grass and various other edible plants. The meat from this animal is different than the meat derived from a cow that was born and raised in a factory, fed grain-based feed, and given growth-promoting hormones and antibiotics. I can't stress this enough. And we're going to talk about the categories in a minute. Today, some meat products are highly processed after the animals have been slaughtered. They're smoked, cured, treated with nitrates, preservatives, and various chemicals. So, therefore, it was very important to distinguish between the different types of meat. So there are 4 types of meat distinguished by this article: processed meat, conventional red meat, white meat, and grass-fed organic meat. Okay, let's talk about processed meat. Now, even this was different back in the day than it is today. Okay, let me read this little sentence. These products are usually, this is processed meat, from conventionally raised cows. We'll define conventional next. But they go through various processing methods. Examples include sausages and bacon. I remember as I grew up, I grew up on a farm. We had farm animals and we had a smokehouse out back. And there was at least 1 or 2 days in the fall when I would come home from school and all the ladies not all, but let's say 6 ladies from the church, plus my mom and my grandmother, were in the kitchen. And I could smell it before I even, hit the door. And on the floor of the kitchen was a hog that had been slaughtered, and they were dressing the hog. They were getting they were cleaning it and taking care of all the various parts. And, I didn't see the whole process. But in the next day or two, we took some parts of the hog and we made sausages. And this is definitely processing, let me tell you. We clamped the the sausage grinder, onto the edge of the table. And, sometimes my job was to turn the crank. Sometimes my job when I was a little older was to feed the sausage and the spices and the fat into the grinder. And sometimes my job was to twist the sausages off as, they became a certain length. So that was processed. That's completely different than the sausage you're going to get in a supermarket today. So, um, processed means something's being done to it between the slaughter and the frying pan. I'm just saying frying pan. Okay, second category, conventional red meat. Conventional red meats are fairly unprocessed, but the cows are usually factory farmed. Meats that are red when raw are defined as red meats. This includes lamb, beef, pork, and some others. I actually have a longer list later on, further down in another article. White meat are meats that are white when cooked. This includes meats from poultry like chicken and turkey. So that's, remember there was this commercial advertising campaign by the pork industry. They called pork the other white meat. But red meats are red when they're raw. White meats are meats that are white when cooked. And so that's how they kind of got away with that ad campaign. But trust me, pork is in the red meat category. Okay. The fourth category is grass-fed organic meat. This meat comes from animals that have been naturally fed, raised organically without drugs and hormones. They also don't have any artificial chemicals added. Here's the caveat. Because again, big food is going to try to game the system, as it were. So grass-fed is now a marketing term that you no longer really know what that means. Because what they will have to do is they will take the herd, they will feed them on grass up until the last 30 days before slaughter. Then they'll put them on a grain diet to fatten them up and get more poundage out of them at the end. So What you want to look for is either 100% grass fed or grass fed and grass finished. So now, if I have a choice between grass fed and conventional meat, as I'm gonna vote with my wallet for the grass fed, knowing I still don't know what really this is, but I'm looking for grass fed, grass finished, or 100% grass finished um, meat. I eat a lot of ground uh, beef just because it's convenient and totally fits with my keto lifestyle. But I have found myself more and more voting with my wallet to send a message for sustainability as well as for uh, getting the grains out of the system. Okay. The next section, red meat is very nutritious. I think I'm going to hold off on that one, but it is. It is very nutritious. But this is the point. This is the thing. There are 4 categories of essential nutrients that the body needs. And essential, I have to define it. It means 2 things. It means that the body needs it, but the medical definition of the word essential means the body can't make it. It has to be imported. And so there are several essential nutrients, 90 of them. But the 4 categories are minerals. They're minerals that are absolutely essential to the body. The body can't make minerals. Vitamins, amino acids, and essential fatty acids. Now, what are amino acids? Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So when we're looking at red meat, when we're looking at meat in general, when we're looking at eggs, we're looking at one of the main, one of the most important macronutrients that we have to consume, and that is protein. And I did want to say this because Mr. Hope mentioned the antioxidant power of Kangen water. And there are some people that truly believe that in this day and time, antioxidants are the 5th category of essential nutrients. Essential meaning we need them. Now, our bodies do make natural antioxidants, but with the stress in our environment, the electromagnetic radio waves, the radio waves bombarding our bodies, increasing, mental stress, all of these, and our absolutely horrendous Western diet, standard Western diet, our antioxidant systems in our bodies are now overwhelmed on a daily basis. So it's just makes sense to supplement somehow with antioxidants to help to combat oxidative stress, as well as to drink Kangen water at the proper pH range. Thank you, Mr. Hope, in order to deal with oxygen or to help our bodies deal with oxidative stress. But some of the nutrients that are in meat: vitamin B, B3, B12, B6, iron, zinc, huge, selenium, and lots of other trace vitamins and minerals. All these are given percentages of the recommended daily allowance, and they are impressive numbers, like 25% or more for most of them. I'm not giving you those numbers because we know the recommended daily allowance is the bare minimum that the body needs to avoid certain diseases. So if we said that a certain amount of meat has 24% of the selenium that you need, that's the bare minimum to prevent devastating deficiency disorders. It's not what you need. Okay, so, and what do you do if you choose a plant-based lifestyle? Well, you still have to get all of the essential amino acids. That takes a little bit more work, unless you're supplementing with something that, a meal replacement or something, some other supplements that have the full complement of amino acids. So my vegetarians, whether you are, well, lacto-ovarians are, I learned about lacto-ovarians when I learned about vegetarians, pescatarians, etc. I don't consider them vegetarians, but people that avoid red meat. If you're eating eggs, if you're eating fish, if you're eating chicken, you're getting the full complement of essential amino acids. If you are relying on grains, not a good idea. If you're relying on legumes, different beans, whatever, you have to be very aware of your food combinations. Thankfully, seaweed is much more available. And there are other high protein vegetarian products that are available. Blue green algae. What are some of the other? I can't remember all of them, but vegetarians need to really focus on getting all of the essential amino acids. All right. So what does red meat mean for heart disease, diabetes, death? There are studies about it, but most of the studies are observational studies. And they're kind of like seeing the ambulance at the hospital. There are a lot more ambulances at the hospital, so the ambulances must make people sick. So you can't draw that causative conclusion from an observational study. All you can do from an observational study is see, well, they're related. So now we need to go to the double-blind randomized trials and see what really is the effect over the long term of, and they could do red meat versus white meat, or ideally, they would do organic grass-fed red meat versus conventional red meat, because I think that would go a long way to get to the heart of the matter. And some of these studies are being done. Some of the studies we've got some results from later, and I'll tell you, when you look at heart disease, diabetes, death, and cancer, for many things that I observed make me convinced that red meat is getting a bad rap in the press. So, for instance, this phrase is just in my mind. It's not the crime, it's the cover-up, right? It's not the meat. It might be the sauce, or even more importantly, it might be the way that you cook it. So in my favorite or my favorite series, our 5-step cycle of cancer series, that's calls number 50 through 54. Call number 50, we talk about heterocyclamines and acrylamides and how different cooking methods, getting those ages, glycation product, getting those tasty grill lines, that Maillard reaction, those things create compounds that do promote that do increase your cancer risk. So just cooking differently, the same ingredients can decrease your cancer risk by, amazing percentages. And, maybe I do have them pulled up. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I really want to drive home is that it's very important to get a full complement of amino acids. And if you're not eating meat, then it's very important to get your combinations right. So we do have a good food, bad food list to kind of help guide you. You can request that list later. I'll tell you how later on. And we do have a wonderful community here where we're all working together to make healthy choices. Okay, so Mr. Hope, would you like us to maybe go to our Q&A session?
Sure, we can open up our call for the Q&A. And I'm very thankful for the commentary that you've made today about foods. Over the past 30 years, probably 30 years strong, there has been this strong push for people to be vegetarians. I mean, when I was in college, that was a thing. Oh yeah, be a vegetarian, because that's like healthy for you. Yeah, and meat's not good for you, and you should really eat like this, because this is really the way we're made. And then what you don't realize is that your body is actually made for a series of different types of nutrients, which you then end up missing when you go purely vegetarian. And you think, okay, I can do this because maybe the animals do that. Well, in this case, the animals might surely have a different physiology, and they can metabolize what they need from different types of foods that we don't necessarily have to do. They come out from different types of foods, and we need other things in our diet as well.
Yeah, their enzyme systems are different. So when they eat grasses, they can break down the cellulose, which surrounds each individual cell of the plant and protects the inside of that cell, and it protects it from us. So even if you're eating a salad, which is great, or you're eating kale or spinach or, wonderful things, if you're not chewing it, right, you're just sliding it down, then those cells, those intact cells, they can't be broken down in our bodies because we do not have cellulase. So that is an ad for, or a reason that juicing can be more healthy than just, eating
directly the micronutrients in this case.
Yes. However, what juicing does is when you break down those cells, for instance, if you're juicing fruits, then you're allowing the sugars in that fruit to bombard your bloodstream. So everything is a trade-off, right? And
we didn't get out easy with that one either, huh?
But one thing that we can do is, even if we juice, do something with the pulp. Don't just throw the pulp away. Or get one of those, what are they, Vitamixes that pulverize the entire fruit rather than just extracting the juice and expelling the pulp, because our bodies need that fiber to slow down the sugar hitting our bloodstream. So yeah, and our microbiome needs the pulp. Our microbiome can break down that fire. Our microbiome thrives on those fibers. So
as long as the microbiome is really present the way it needs to be.
Yes.
Have broken down microbiome systems because of all the refined sugars we're taking in.
Absolutely.
And I also like the point you made about the meats, like, just digging in that a little more, just because, the demonization of meat. It's like, oh, it's bad for you. Well, like you said, maybe how it's prepared. what they're being fed these days in the industrialized meat system, trying to produce meat quickly. McDonald's said they serve 60 billion people. Where did they get all those cows from? Is it all really meat? Another question, but the point is that they're using real cows. We'll start with that. What are they feeding them to grow that quickly, to have them present, so that to prepare for the meal, so.
There are documentaries about industrial food that are horrifying.
I've heard that they're scary.
So, I'm not so impressed with the farm to table concept when it comes to getting all of your minerals, because we know that the soil is not uniform. So, supplementation is needed. But as far as sustainable practices, it's really good to know, okay, you used this kind of fertilizer, or it's good to know where your eggs come from. It's good to know where your lamb comes from. It's good to know, if you have a relationship with a farmer or a local butcher. Again, voting with the pocketbook, because that is usually a more expensive way to go. Well, I won't say usually. When it comes to eggs, that could be really, really good. Financially, it depends on, of course, the supply and demand. But really doing the farm to table thing has benefits beyond just trying to get the micronutrients. It's not so reliable for that, depending on where you are on the planet, but it's definitely better than the industrial food complex. And yeah, support your local farmer, please.
Organic farmer.
Yes. I mean, I remember when you couldn't label meat as organic. Organic could only refer to grains or plants, but they called it natural, or so what does natural mean? Does that mean it's untouched by human hands? Does that mean, what does that mean? Just these words, redefinition of words is maddening. So
all right, so thank you. It looked for a moment like someone was trying to raise their hand and ask a question, but if when people do come on, try to get people coming on asking questions. When they do come on, we are here every Saturday now, as well as Wednesday, but Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. That's 6 p.m. in the UK. It's 9 p.m. in Dubai, 10:30 p.m. in India. And, it's really a vital resource, we think, which is why we put ourselves here, because people simply don't know all the details about Kangen water, certainly don't know all the details about their health and benefits. So we really look to be a resource for that kind of information. When it comes to Kangen water, I was mentioning earlier, the amount of water you needed to drink and the level of the water. So just before I take some questions, just to add to that the body in detoxification with Kangen water is best at about 75% of your body weight in ounces. I recommend that the average person drink about what would be the equivalent of 4 liters of water. 4 liters would translate into 32 ounces 4 times a day. 6 a.m. in the morning would be your starting point. 12 p.m., noon would be your second time. 2 more times throughout the day, including 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and once again before dinner, but should usually be between 6 and 7 p.m. the latest. If you're detoxing throughout the day at about 1 liter per session, per period, you're going to maintain a better equilibrium throughout the body, because you're going to minimize your detoxification. You're going to maximize your detoxification and minimize your toxic presence. And that will allow the body to be more self-healing as you go throughout the day. I see someone kind of unmuted themselves or so forth. If they wanted to ask a question, we can certainly take a question. Was that Mahesh Gori? Did you have a question out there? We'd love to take your question. And where in the world, what part of the world you're calling in from? Do you have any questions, Manish? Oh, as a matter of fact, I've got to give him some.
I think you just came in to
Oh,
the
did he?
call.
Oh, okay. He just came into the call. So we're here on the Kangen Water Health and Information call. And we are known as Kangen Water Radio, here to help people from coast to coast and continent to continent understand Kangen water, what it is, how it works within the body, and how to best use it. Yeah. There's one thing I did want to show before we took a couple of questions, and that was one of my illustrious slides. Yay. Just as a kind of reminder to people. And I'm going to share that slide in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here goes my share. Because, oftentimes, as I mentioned before, the Kangen water has been referred to as alkaline water. And the concept has been, from people's explanation, well-meaning though inaccurate, that the body was alkaline. To drink alkaline water, to eat alkaline foods, so your body can be healthy. And what we remind everyone is that your body is not entirely alkaline. And we do not want to alkalize you. The concept that people have said, well, they can do alkalinity by putting baking soda in water and drinking that. You don't want to do that. Here's why. Your stomach, if you can notice from my little chart here, is more on the acidic side. Lower stomach 1.5 to 4.0. Other parts of the digestive system can range in the acidic levels from 4.0 to 7.0. That's neutral, but below 7. The large intestine, the small intestine, the saliva, upper part of the stomach, so lower part of the stomach. So we have to detox because high toxicity is really the culprit and the issue. Toxicity can lead to pH imbalance, and pH imbalance can lead to dysfunction of the organs and cells in the body. So we have to remove the toxicity. What is Kangen water really? It's an antioxidant water that removes, expels toxicity. Once you can expel toxicity, the body, already being self-regulating, is better able to keep the pH balance in all of its organs. If there's a high toxic load, the body's self-regulating ability to maintain pH normality in different organs is hampered, is disabled to a degree, and the body can go into pH imbalance, and that can lead to any kind of health dysfunction. The different organs in the body must maintain their pH level to be healthy. So the stomach must stay acidic, while the heart stays more alkaline, while the intestines stay more acidic, while for women, the reproductive system stays more acidic, while the brain and the bloodstream stays more alkaline. You see? So there's a series of things going on at one time. The body is self-regulating. It's an incredible unit, and it takes care of itself as long as we get proper hydration, detoxification, which we can now have with Kangen water and the Kangen water's antioxidant effect. Yeah. And then, of course, you have to eat. You want to get proper nutrition so your body has what it needs for full function. So we have to understand certain things about Kangen water, why we're drinking and how to drink it best. We have to remember that the Kangen water, it has different levels, different pH levels. And the pH levels are only indications of the different, how do we say, levels of detoxification that can occur. So that we understand by looking at the machine itself, there are different settings on the 8.5, 9.0, 9.5 level, just different strengths of antioxidant levels of the water. Not that you're detoxing, it's simply hydrating, and not that you're alkalizing, you're simply hydrating and detoxing at the proper rates. I recommend everyone always start at the 8.5 pH level, so their body can have a proper detoxification and their body can acclimate to that. If you begin at the 9.5 pH level, you could overwhelm the body with high detoxification. If someone is overweight, or whereas obesity might be an issue, we want to stay at the 8.5 level upwards to a year, really, because we want to keep the detoxification mild. We have to remember that fatty cells in the body can host toxins. Those toxins being pushed out at too fast a rate could overwhelm the colon. You don't want to do that at a 9.5, which is a stronger detox. Stay at the 8.5, where the body is better able to handle it. And then for yourself, just manage this so you can see which level the water is best for you. There's no real race to the 9.5 pH level. You drink the water at the level that your body is best able to detox at. And if that means 8.5, that's where you stay. If you enjoy 9.0, that's good too. If you're more athletic and more fit and the body functions well, the 9.5, that's fine as well. But don't go to the 9.5 and find yourself dizzy and having headaches and saying, okay, I need to stay there because I'm going to get healthier. Your body may not be able to detox at that rate of the 9.5. Come on down. Come on down to the 8.5. Be at the level where your body is best able to maintain a proper detoxification regulation, and thereby you'll be healthy. So these are some things we want to remind people about the Kangen water. It's not an alkaline water. It's an electrolyzed reduced water. It's designed to detox the body and give your body what it needs to be in a healthier state. And lastly, molecular hydrogen, another element within the water. It's where two hydrogen atoms come together and they will, come on now, where's that slide? I lost my slide. Oh my God, there it is. And they will allow your body to build up more energy. So when you drink Kangen water, there's molecular hydrogen present. It is responsible for the energy boosting you might be experiencing when you're drinking Kangen water. And you're energized now. You're hydrating, you're detoxing, your pH balance, and your pH balance, your body can function healthy and be more self-healing. And thereby you'll see so many different papers on electrolyzed reduced water and their health benefits on the science journals that refer to the benefits you'll get when you drink a Kangen water. Is that right there? No. So just some information I wanted you to take home with you. Make sure you remember, and please ask any questions. We enjoy taking your questions and being a resource for you so you understand more about Kangen water. Let's see now. Do we have any questions yet, Dr. Singletary, we want to go to?
You can look on Facebook. Juanita does have her hand up.
Okay. So
I don't know. I can't see the Facebook chat. But.
Okay, let me take a look at the Facebook chat. Let me ask her to unmute for a second. And Juanita, if you could ask a question pertaining to what we're talking about today, that could be fulfilling to the rest of the people as well. And we'll try to bring some more people on from Facebook who have questions. Juanita?
Yeah, good morning. I was trying to undo my video too.
All right. And you can begin and see if we can try to get that done as well. Okay, there you go. There's your video, Juanita.
All these buttons I'm clicking here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, there we go. Good. Oh, somebody's calling me right now who I invited to the program. I can't.
That's fine. What's the question you have?
Well, I was wondering about fish. We were talking about red and white. Yeah. So, for example, salmon would be under the red, but then cod would be under the white. Dr. Lisa?
Fish is its own category. So fish is not considered meat, right? That's another category. Meat is, the first definition of meat was that it's a mammal that has red flesh when it is raw.
Okay. And then can you tell me what selenium is? Because a young man that I took to Mr. Chiropractor, my wonderful Dr. David, he's got a tattoo on the back of his calf, and the doctor's so brilliant. I mean, this man, I'm going to get him on these calls eventually. But he had a tattoo on the back of his calf, and the doctor said, oh, that's selenium, that atom or whatever they call the scientific figure of that. Okay, what am I trying to say?
No, I get it.
The elemental symbol for it?
Yep, the elements. And the doctor said, oh, selenium. And the young man says, yes, I was told that I have a lack of it, so that's my reminder. So where do we
great.
Is it addressing if you don't have it?
Okay, so let me refer you to two calls, first of all. Call number 205 and 206. Call number 205 is entitled Selenium Dr. Schrouser. And Dr. Schrouser is just but an amazing mineral expert, and his subspecialty actually was selenium, and he did an hour-long interview, and it's on YouTube. And on that call, that's number 205, I did an overview of that interview that he has on YouTube. So that would be a very good call to look at. Also, call number 206 was a selenium research update. But selenium is, let's look at it this way. In Mr. Hope's analogy of the pool, where the body cells are a pool or a fish, right? And the fish is in the fish bowl. The water around the fish is your interstitial fluid. Glutathione is like one of the main detoxifiers in the body, one of the main antioxidants. So glutathione is like the filter that keeps the water clean, because if you're in a fish bowl, there has to be a certain amount of cleaning of the water. Selenium is like when you clean the filter. So selenium recycles glutathione. Selenium makes your glutathione be able to perform its function over and over and over and over. And if you don't have enough selenium, then you can't restore the antioxidant function of the glutathione. It has many, many functions in the body. It affects your thyroid. It affects your immune system. Selenium is really amazing. But yeah, I want to refer you to those two calls. And I know you already have the links for them. So.
And if we were to summarize that, simply we would say that selenium is important for the antioxidant effects of your body to occur properly.
That's a huge part of what it does, yes.
And
not the only thing.
My mood, would it make me, because a lot of that generation that I know are very depressed, and they've come from abusive families, and I just didn't know if it was a happy feeling, like, does selenium make you feel good, an antidepressant kind of?
Well, I mean, it all works together. If your immune system is down, you're not going to feel good, right? If your thyroid is not functioning correctly, you're going to be sluggish. You're going to be, your weight is not going to be good. Your heart rate will be affected. And if your body can't detox, then these things are building up in your brain. So, like I said, it all works together.
And then just a comment.
Wait. Because I've forgotten the last two calls to ask you this.
Okay.
Can you give us an update on Margie?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
I haven't heard her, but good reminder, I'll give her a call.
Okay. Because I've been praying.
Okay.
All right.
Over the weekend, I've heard two different, I'm going to read one to you. This is a message from a gal in Michigan who I invited to the call. She's got the Avicin, which I was just taking while I was sitting here. She wrote to me at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. this morning. My dear Juanita, miss talking to you. I have been overwhelmed these last 2 months. We just lost my dear friend. She passed away from complications of the COVID. She had a blood clot in her heart after suffering the COVID. Her husband got it and her stepchildren. They got better, then she got it and within 3 weeks passed away. Yesterday I went to my other friend's house and found her on the floor. Had to call 911, don't know yet what was wrong. This weekend is my Greek Easter week, Praying for a blessed Easter. Please know that I miss talking to you. I love you, Penny. The other one was my caregiver, Rose. Her sister had a heart attack the last few days, and they put a stent in her. Is that the right word?
Stent.
Stent. Okay. And the first question I asked her, and she's off the clock, so we could talk as friends now, I said, by chance, did she take the COVID vaccine as well? And she said yes. And we both have had this conversation together, and we both will not do that. And she got quiet, and then she said, the doctors told her it had nothing to do with the vaccine. Well, there's two different things. People, thank God, her sister didn't pass. So I'm pretty. The medical system here in Wenatchee is incredibly horrible. And I'm going, as you guys know, gluten free. I'm just sitting here eating my beets and radish and cabbage now and cucumber salad. And yes, vote with the pocketbook is what my third caregiver, Lucina, has told me about the meat. She went and got local meat. We're going to go to the local butcher when they're open. And I'm seeing the huge difference. She brought me over some gluten-free eggs this morning with tortillas, the corn tortillas, and they were cooked together with some garbanzo beans, which is completely different than what we would eat for breakfast. So I'm just really, really into, I'm going to be an advocate just for a lot of things that I've been witnessing the last month. Um, I'm still here in this motel room, as you can see.
All right. Okay. And those are the key things. You're talking about good nutrition, being conscious of pharmaceuticals and what's going on with those as well, and getting us back to the core of what we need to be doing, very much hand in hand with Dr. Singletary's commentary about foods and meats and understanding what is what. And, overall, we with the High Kangen Water Nation, just talking about proper water as well. So we're going to do everything we can to stay healthy, eat those things that are best, understand more things like selenium, their nutrient factors and benefits, and do things that can carry us forward. We are now coming to the end of the call, and we better go ahead and get the wrapped up. But thank you, Dr. Secretary, and thank you, Juanita.
I want to show everybody before we go. I've got my brand new keys to my home in my hand.
Congratulations, homeowner and home manager. So
yes.
Awesome.
But thank you for your prayers.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Okay, well, thank you you have now, those on the replay and those on the live call, we have reached the end of call number 386 here on the Kangen Water Health and Information International Call, now Kangen Water Radio. We will be here on Wednesday at 1. I'm trying to share my screen here. Here we go. There we go. We'll be here on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. in the UK, 9 p.m. in Dubai. On Wednesdays, we are on Dr. Lisa Health on my Zoom, which is Dr. Lisa Health, and you do need a passcode to get in. It is listed. On Saturdays, just like here, Kangen Water Radio, Zoom, and we will be having the replays on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Look for Kangen Water Radio. Yeah. And please, if you find value from the call, like us, love us, subscribe to us, share us, all the things, we need you to do. Now, I have to say, I really, really would like your email addresses. So if you could send them to me, we haven't finished the transfer of the call where I promised our last resource, but we do have a resource, remember, of sneaky smoothies. I like saying sneaky smoothies. I don't know why, but getting healthy ingredients into smoothies that taste delicious so that our children and our teens will be able to get some nutrition into them. So if you get email addresses from me, you will get the replay links and you will get the resource of the sneaky smoothies. And if I text you, but I don't email you, so please check on those things. Please send me your email and I would love to add you to my list. All right, Mr. Hope, any final words?
Yes, one final word. So while we're sharing screens, so also remember that people can contact us through our web links and phone numbers around the world. Here on the screen here, you see our main website, kangenwaternation.com. That's kangenwaternation.com. In the United States, you can reach us at 866-526-4368. That's 866-526-4368. In the United Kingdom, overseas in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, reach us on 0800 086 9793. That's 0800 086 9793, and that's the +44 country code for those who are trying to call into the country. In Dubai, reach us at +971 800 0184 589. That's in Dubai, +971 country code 800 0184 589, as you can see on the screen. And we have our associate websites, kangenwaterlondon.co.uk, and a great deal of services around throughout the greater London area, including installations and pre-filtration, and in Dubai as well, throughout Dubai, as well as serving the greater UAE. Our website, kangenwaterdubai.com. That's kangenwaterdubai.com. So we look forward to your contacting us, asking as well, if you're first new to the call, about the Kangen water machines, letting us know who referred you and who invited you to the call from our regional sections. And we're happy to help you, happy to serve you, happy to make sure you've got the proper health information about the Kangen water and be a resource to you in every way we can. All right. And thank you so much, Dr. Singletary.
Drink Kangen water.
Wow.
It's good for you. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. This May. Oh, still can't believe it. And I can't wait. We'll see you Wednesday. On a Wednesday, I'm going to talk about the cooking methods and the difference between which cooking methods make your meats more healthy versus not just meats, vegetables too, versus what makes them more toxic. All right.
Better bake and broil.
Are you looking at my notes, Mr.
Oh,
Hope?
no, I got to know a few things. One or two things.
All right. Love you all. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Oh.